Hello world, my name is Adrian Adams. I'm the owner, founder and managing director of We Care Homes C.I.C. Who are We Care Homes? We Care Homes are a social care provider who specialise in providing mindful social care to look after young people aged from 12 to 18. Outside of the robust and highly sought after residential support that we provide to our young people, we provide a number of services to other businesses and the community, ranging from consultation to high-level training and, most importantly, our in-house framework that we deliver on an outreach basis to numerous organisations and education institutions. Now, this program is called The Road to Damascus, and you'll be hearing much more about this young people rehabilitation program as the podcasts go on. Now, the name of today's podcast is called the We Care Homes Social Capital Podcast. Now, the term social capital refers to an individual, a group of individuals, or a group of organizations working together towards one overall objective. The overall objective that we have is to push forward the quality of supported living and social care throughout the capital, as well as highlighting some of the plights that our young people, both in and out of social care, go through. Now, the term capital with an OL refers to a building where law and legislation are changed and impacted. And we believe, because of the residential nature of what we do, it was right to call our podcast the Social Capital Podcast, because we provide social capital both on a collaborative level as well as on a social care supported housing level. And we believe that it is our conversations like what we're about to have today and the other episodes that you'll witness that will inspire change and further improvement within the social care industry. So what's our aim? What's our goal? Our goal is to collaborate with innovative, leading individuals and organizations throughout the community, throughout the city, throughout the country, to have important and inspiring and insightful and intimate conversations about what we can do as individuals and as organizations to further the quality of care that is being provided within the social care industry, as well as to shed light on some of the challenges that professionals and organizations are experiencing in the space. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the We Care Homes Social Capital Podcast.
Comments way too down. Try man shake you down. All my life I grind and hustle, trying to make a bounce. Comments way too down.
Welcome, my name is Adrian Adams, owner and founder of We Care Homes, the country's most impactful social care provider. With me I have our Chief Operating Officer. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Denise. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of We Care Homes. I also have my own consultancy services to health and social care providers called Care Services. Okay.
Fantastic. Okay. So, what we're trying to do, guys, is we do a lot of amazing things in private, and what we're trying to do is shed more light on what we do, and we also are trying to collaborate and involve ourselves with reputable individuals and professionals in the social care field. We're honoured today to be joined by the Social Worker and Mentor podcast.
Yes.
I'd like you guys to have an opportunity to introduce yourselves and also tell us how you started.
Okay, so my name is Nana. So I'm a qualified social worker. I've been a social worker for 10 years, and I've managed a referral and assessment team, a child protection team. I currently manage and looked after children's team, but most of my social work has all been child protection. I'm also university lecturer as well. Okay. So I lecture at different universities across the country. And I also assess newly qualified social workers as well.
Okay.
And I'm a practice educator as well, and I assess social work students. So, man, there's a lot of things, you know, a lot of things.
There's a lot
of things in it. So but very much happy to be on this platform. And then I'll pass over to Rob.
Yeah, so my name's Robert. I don't really know where to start.
Yeah. Bro, you do everything and anything, bro.
All right, so all right, so I'm a behaviour specialist, qualified child counsellor, probation officer, school Senko, my gosh, inclusion, work for the China Prevent team as well.
Yacht.
Jeez, mad, isn't
a
it?
lot, isn't
Yeah,
it?
mad, isn't it? I'm seasoned, innit? I'm seasoned.
I hear it. I'm not
yeah.
mad at it. I hear it.
More importantly, I'm an advocate for young people, and I have a passion for it, and I love, seeing the change, man. So yeah.
Agreed.
good.
It's quite nice seeing us all sit here like this and have this kind of conversations, because
Yeah.
on a normal day-to-day basis it will be like a lack review or a strategy meeting
Over Teams.
do you know?
Yeah.
Since COVID it's
Emails
like
back and forth.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the reason why today's conversation will be so impactful is because, as Denise said, usually we don't really get an opportunity to talk in an informal way like this. I was honoured to be introduced to you lot's work through our HR consultant, Leah, and she was able to just highlight what your organisation does. I found myself sitting down watching you lot's videos quite a bit, and I just want to commend you guys for what you are doing. I find it very inspirational, especially your consistency, because I've seen the episodes over and over and over again, and that must have taken a lot of work. Yeah, and we was actually able to have a deep conversation ourselves, and what we spoke about representation in the field. Do you guys want to touch on that briefly?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, go on, Robin.
So okay.
go
So the reason why we started this podcast, because I felt so my favorite word is organic. I just love the word organic, right? Yeah. I don't like the same, and part of my personality. 'Cause I'm a Scorpio, by the way. Yeah, but part of my personality, I get bored quite quick. Right? Yeah, and especially when it comes professionally. And if I think things are stale, I'm like, nah, man, we've got to change it and everything. So during COVID now, everyone was starting a podcast, and I thought, right, I'd love to do a podcast, but it's got to be a bit more, I don't know, man, something with some oomph, some detail, something different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something a little bit organic and everything. Yeah. So should man do a football thing? Nah. Relationships? Definitely not. And then one day, I just picked up my phone one day, I just took it from the phone. I was thinking, right, I know solicitors, judges, mental health practitioners, teachers, social workers, people that work in semi-independence. I was thinking, right. So one day I just typed in on YouTube, social care podcast or youth offending podcast, and there wasn't really anything.
Yeah.
I thought, blood fire.
Yeah.
Hey.
They got USB.
Yeah, it's not there. It's not
the
there,
USB.
innit?
It's not there. It's not there.
It's not there.
So then I thought, but will people tune in though? Because obviously it's not a normal link up TV thing, or where you're going to get all the many views, or like a Shade Borough where you're talking about better pass and everything. So I was thinking, right, will man get the number? And then I thought, hang on a minute. Boy, our sector is big business,
Yeah.
Like education, social care,
Yeah.
it's big business now. No, they are multi-million pound industries, Yeah. So I started my own podcast, and it was good, but I felt something was missing. At that time, I was talking to Nana, and we would generically just talk about cases, just advice, our journeys, whatnot. And sometimes he's doing too much, sometimes I'm doing too much. And I thought, right, boy, the way we just bounce with each other, it just works. And we're mandem as well.
Yeah.
And one thing I like is that we're mandem.
Yeah.
And they look at us and think, them man don't know. Are you mad? I'm 20 years, and how many years?
Yeah, 10 years. It's 30 years between us, isn't it?
About 30 years of it.
Yeah.
Man are seasoned,
Yeah.
Man are seasoned like cooked food, You
I hear
understand?
it, I hear
We're
it, I
marinating
hear
the
it.
thing, Yeah.
Of course.
Right. So for me, I just thought, let's do something. And it's just gone from strength to strength to strength.
Yeah.
And this year's gonna be a mad thing.
Yeah.
But you know the maddest thing is, when he spoke to me about doing a podcast, I said to him, bruv, do you know what job I do? I'm a social worker. How are you going to have me on a podcast? Yeah. So I was very nervous, innit? Because you know what you hear on the news about social work and everything. But the first episode, I couldn't stop.
Listen,
I couldn't stop.
natural.
he's doing 10 press ups and everything. Like
Listen, the way that I was nervous, innit? I was like, bro, I can't do that. Listen, Nana, listen, it's calm.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. But since then, it's gone really well. And I think representation is important because I think the reason why we're doing well is because two black men who work in the social care field.
Yeah.
So you don't really see us talking about this. And I think people like the fact that you've got representation there. It's man them from the ends, but actually we're
Yeah.
professional as well.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a lot of controversial things. It hasn't been easy. Sometimes we've had comments about our knowledge, people questioning what me and Rob are saying. So we call them out. We're like, just because we're man them, don't think we don't know what we're doing. Like I'm 10
Yeah,
years
it's true.
in this
Of
thing.
course, of course.
He's
It's
20 years qualified.
Definitely.
Then I start to tell people about our accolades. They're like, all right, cool. These men know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We've got some of his young people who tune in as well to the podcast. So, and it's done well. I mean, I was in Parliament last
Yeah, last week, yeah.
I was in Parliament
no,
last.
No, say it again, bro.
I was in Parliament.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, say it one more time.
I was in Parliament, bro.
Come
innit?
on, come on,
Yeah,
come on.
Just in case they
I
don't
was
know
in,
the thing,
listen,
yeah?
people.
Let them
I
hear
was
in
in
the back.
Parliament, yeah.
Let them hear in the back.
I was in Parliament December. I've lectured all over the UK. I'm doing work with the unions, and to be fair, you know what? Like, Rob's been very supportive in terms of saying, "Now, listen, I want you to kind of be the face of social work." And to be fair, if a social workers all over the country reach out, say, "Nana, listen, thank you for what you're saying because actually how you're talking, what you're saying, like." We want to say it, but we don't have the confidence. They can't.
Imagine,
And even our podcast as well, the local authority, well, he's still there, but the first local authority, that's how we first met. When we first started in the podcast, they actually said that we couldn't do it. And I was saying to Rob, listen, bruv, like, they're saying to us no.
Yeah.
Should we stop? And he's like, no. We're not
I
going to stop.
just have to get authorization. or
Listen,
something.
No, but this is it, because they're saying that we still, because at the time, they were saying, well, you guys work for the local authority, so you got to tell us what you're doing. And we were like, listen, it's outside of work,
Yeah.
it's our own money, our own time. You can't tell us.
Yeah. Listen,
Then it starts to blow, they're like, oh, can we buy into it?
Oh, now.
I'm like,
Oh,
nah.
now.
When he told me, I was mad. I was like, "What?" Later, listen. So out of both of us, I'm like the rebellious one, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't see me. I don't care. Right.
You don't care.
I just talk my talk, right? Yeah. I was like, "What?" I felt offended, you know, because I thought this is our
They
thing.
believe you in the beginning.
Yeah, but tell them the cheek. Tell them the cheek.
Yeah,
Tell them the audacity.
Yeah, so what happened is they pulled me. So the director actually called and said, "Look, we've seen you've got this podcast, but you work for the local authority, so you're not allowed to do it. So you have to stop it." So I called Rob and said, "Rob, listen, the director's on me and you in it, saying that they've seen the podcast, we can't do it because actually, are you going to compromise where you work?" And we were kind of saying, it's not about where we work, you know, like it's about generic education, social care stuff, innit? So then Rob said, listen, Nana, listen, we're still going to do it, do what we need to do. Then the podcast starts to grow and get traction. Then later on, they're like, listen, okay, we see how you guys are growing. Can you have the podcast attached to the local authority? So we can use it. So we can use it like for training and also for social workers. And then we went out and I said, no. Because what you could have done is you could have said, all right, listen, you see what you guys are doing? We want to buy into it. We'll pay you.
Just said,
and then you can take that way. Nah.
or develop a program,
Develop a program.
or something.
No, you've
funding.
lost out on that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
No, it's
Nah,
true,
so
it's true.
no, since then, so we've just kind of blown, innit?
Done it.
Yeah.
That's sick. And it's amazing because what you said, you guys are seasoned. You guys have been in the industry for some time.
Yeah.
So it's great to be like getting the sounding board of people of you lot's level of experience.
Yeah.
What I was gonna do, or what we're gonna do today, is we're gonna take this conversation in sections. Yeah. So me and Denise will take a few turns of asking the questions. I've got a little title for each section, and then do you know what I mean? We'll just be asking you guys about your experiences.
Yeah.
So the first section is what makes us different. Now we've spoken on the phone a few times about what makes us different, especially with regards to our internal framework, known as the Road to Damascus, and especially with regards to the work that we do in the community, as well as with the youth offending teams in the areas that we work with. One thing that we really are is socially conscious. We understand that any environment we put our homes in can be impacted by the young people that are there, and they're a reflection of our professionalism.
100.
The question that I have for you guys is, in your time, can you give us examples of great support that you've seen, or of negative support that you guys have seen from certain organisations?
It could be organisations, could be individuals.
Could be,
Yeah.
We've got a lot to say, innit?
Wait,
We'll be
how
whole day, you
long is
know.
the podcast?
No, we ain't got that long.
you don't have that long.
What's the juiciest?
Yeah.
Like,
Come on, I got a lot to say, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know? Can I use a semi-independent as an example?
Of course.
no, go ahead.
Should I go
We
first?
here.
Yeah, go on.
Oh man,
We'll be all day, you know.
I'm trying to make it appropriate, you know.
No. Be real.
What the
But
juice-
can I be real though?
Yeah, no,
Of course,
be
yeah,
100%
yeah.
real.
This is
100% real.
what you want.
All right, so I go into a lot of semi-independents because a lot of my caseload are unfortunately in care, and unfortunately live in semi-independence. So obviously, as a mentor, and obviously working on behalf of the LAC team / probation, you have to have a good rapport with a lot of these semi-independents.
Say that again, please.
No, they need to hear it. They need
Say it
to
again,
hear
please.
Yeah, so the local authority, it's very important. They have a very strong relationship with semi-independents. Yeah, very, very,
Agreed.
very important. Communication is everything.
Agreed.
But sometimes when you work with particular staff members, sometimes, I'm not saying that they don't get it. Sometimes maybe the passion's not there. But sometimes I think, right, like, I'm not better than you. So sometimes I might get like a phone call. Robert, she's not listening. And I'm thinking,
What are you supposed to do
What
about
do you want me to do? So then I have to go down there now, right? Yeah, and me, I'm thorough. Who's that? It's me. Open the door. Sorry, I should open the door, right? Yeah, right. What's going on? Yeah, they try banging my door, you know. Yeah, but you're supposed to listen, right? Yeah. So then what I do, obviously respectfully and professionally, I'll take one of the key workers or the staff aside and just say, listen, I'm not better than you, you know. Like, come on, like you know, make her listen to you. She has to listen to you, right? Yeah, it's imperative, you know. So then I might go into the room, and I might see a period pad in the corner. Now I'm a man, yeah, I'm a male, and then I've got to pull aside one of the male workers and say, what's going on? Because if I go back to my bosses, they want to know why this young person, her room it looks like a pigsty, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Come like, what are we doing out here? Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, for me, I do feel some of the young people in some semis are not being looked after at the level that they should be looked after. In terms of nurturing, yeah. I'm talking about hygiene.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm talking about mental health. Yeah. Talking about mental health, there are a lot of young people that have autism, Asperger's, ADHD. Unfortunately, a lot of them are also in crime. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, for me, in terms of nurturing, I like when a member of staff takes time to, all right, so you have a special need, you have autism. Do you understand autism? Right? Do you understand how you feel? And I love that. And I do see that with a lot of key workers who are very, in terms of communication, yeah, because for me it's important. Like balance is important and everything, right? Yeah, and look, no one's perfect and everything, but like for me, I'm a man, but I'm also a professional. But I'm not better than nobody else, and you can do what I do. But when I'm getting phone calls at 6:30 in the morning, right, but they're not waking up, you know what? Yeah, and then I ring up now. Get up, man! What are you doing?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's the approach, you know.
Yeah, it's the approach
and
and
the type of rapport, because like every young person that you might deal with,
you
have different types of rapport with each person. You know which you can be really cool and kiki and whatever, and you know the ones that you got to keep it strictly, like you mentioned, if it's a male, female, that type of thing. So having that rapport is basically what sets you aside.
100%.
You know what I mean?
But you know, with a local authority, I think one of the things that we see a lot is that there's some providers and you're pay. I can't tell you how much. There's some providers that we're paying. I don't want to tell you how much we're paying. So when they're calling to say to the social worker they ain't getting up, we're thinking what? So you're getting X amount of bags. So we're paying you all this money because this child's accommodated, and like you're getting all this package. You're saying that you're able to support the young person, do all of this. So you're calling the social workers to come and do what? How? And you're getting all this money.
Is it always they're hollering you and stuff to say like, oh, they're not getting up or they can't do nothing?
Sometimes you get that because what people need to understand as well, and I think it's important I say this, when local authorities are making contact with a lot of providers, like for me as a team manager, I have to go to a panel. So if I'm asking for a young person to go this particular placement, the director's going to say to me, okay, right, this is how much it costs. Please tell me why we're paying all this money. Tell me what makes this provider different. Yeah. So then if the local authority is spending all this money to have this young person in this placement, the provider says that they're going to do this work, but you're calling the social worker to go and say that the young person's not getting up. Why is the local authority paying you all this money then? Why? This is the thing. Because yes, I get why providers pay or ask the local authority that this is what our costs are, because I get it. It's not just about paying, it's about paying the workers, paying the bills, the support, transport, I get that. But if you're getting all this money to care for this young person, how is it basic things you're calling the mentor or the social worker that this is what's not happening? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like laziness. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
But then I don't know if it's a thing to do with training. Because Rob mentioned about all of them, because you get some providers, some residential placements Like there's one that I went to, but it wasn't even in England. It was like in Wales. But they had an on-site kind of like psychologist there.
Okay.
So what will make you different? So some providers, like I think what I see is that you have different providers, but they all do the same thing. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's some that might have maybe a school that's nearby, or they might have an on-site psychologist who's there. So that makes you a bit different. So I could get why the local authority might pay a bit more. But there's others do the same thing, paying you all this money, but you're calling the social worker saying, well, they're not getting up in the morning.
It's ridiculous.
Should I give you something from the provider's perspective in regards to like maybe like the fees aspect, the way that you guys set your referrals? You got to understand that for me, when I look at a referral, I'm flagging up all the risks. I'm not even going to see the referral is not the true picture. So I'm now going to call you up and I'm going to ask you the questions that I need the answers to. Where's the last time they were missing?
Did they tell the
Where's
truth?
the last time and half the things ain't on there. How am I supposed to support them?
But you know what it is, right? You know what it is, right?
Yeah, to get them in the placement.
Because remember, like I think difficulty is that so you have a lot of young people, and the thing is, I know that when a young person's like profile is sent out, and because the thing is, I say this to families a lot, when they're like, well, you can't find a placement for my son or daughter, they have to understand it's like, look, the provider has the right to go and say, yes, we'll take you. No, we won't take you. So what the social workers get told, they get told, listen, this is the young person's profile. So you can't eliminate the risks from that referral, but you have to make sure you provide the balance. So sometimes social workers, they might put a bit more of the positives there because obviously it's like
they're so kind, but they just hit a member of staff 2 weeks ago.
One thing the providers don't see is like when the local authority does go to court, the courts do criticize the local authorities for not finding a place for that child. And the thing is, the judges right now, they're at a point where it's like, you know what? I don't really care if the provider's telling you yes or no. You have to find a placement. So our placement team will say, try and make that profile of that young person as balanced as possible. So sometimes the social worker shouldn't admit it. So if the young person's gone missing, they should say the young person went missing. So you know, but some providers say that, all right, now missing young person.
But brother, it's bad because you guys know, right? Yeah, right. That child might be high risk.
Yes.
But then they're putting the thing now. Medium.
Yeah, their rag rating is
and then 2 weeks has gone by, and you're thinking, rah, Timmy's on a mad thing right now.
No, I know. I'm not saying it's right. It's not right. Because at the end of the day, the profile has to be set. You got to be open and honest, innit? But what the social workers are told is that, listen, we know there's a lot of risk to the young person, but you can't show all the negative. Try and show the positive so that provider's willing to work with the young person, but let the provider know, okay, look, these are the risk indicators. This young person has gone missing. They've absconded. Maybe they've gone and set fire to something. Do you know what I mean? Like, but this is
because they always keep the fires out. No, because they always keep the fires out, and they come to the house and burn down the yard. Do you know what I mean?
No, I mean the social worker should be saying, nah, they set fire to the thing. But if it's like historical, maybe like, it happened a month ago, or happened 2 weeks ago, or it happened the other day. But the provider has to be the one to go and say yes or no.
Of course.
Yeah,
you know
I find out for real.
That's a perfect segue into the next section. Because the next section is we can reach them all. Now, with us, we try not to judge any of the young people based on their referral. And like Denise said, we read the risk assessment, but then we ask questions. Denise, can you give a bit more information on what we do before we actually get the young person? Because she won't let me just bring them. No.
No.
That's when she'll just start on the phone.
I read between the lines. I read between the lines. I'm asking, okay, if they're not in education, what the hell they come to do in the placement? And you only want to pay for 5 hours. What am I supposed to do with them for 5 hours for a week? Do you get what I'm trying to say to you? Because they're not in education, even to support them to get in education, it's going to take more than 5 hours a week.
100%.
You see what I'm trying? They want to go into employment, or they got youth offending appointments. You see what I'm trying to say? Or, okay, when they went missing, how long were they missing for? And where did you find them? You didn't tell me you found them at a trap house. You didn't tell me that you found them because they got arrested and stuff like that. Do you see? Yeah.
No,
I know.
Do you
get what I mean?
No, do you know what it is? I hear it. Denise,
you're right. You're not even.
I fully hear what you're saying.
So normally, I would, once the referral comes in, cool, we've gone through it, I have my questions, I'm just going to hit up the social worker. Because more times it's going to come from a placements team. They don't really know the children. I'm hitting up that social worker that's been with them for 3-4 years. So listen, let's be real.
No, but the social worker is the one who's, they will know more, 100%.
Let's be real. Let's be real. shoot it as it is and let us know that we can support them, because we don't want to be in a predicament where you're looking at us sideways, that we're paying you this amount of money or so forth, and we can't support them. But you guys were hiding your hands.
But you know though, right? Yeah. So this was during COVID. Okay, right? Yeah. So as I said, I work with loads of social workers, and I've actually been on visits with the social worker to the actual home, right? Yeah. And we sit down, right? They're going through the form and everything now. Now I know this child is maybe high level, right? Yeah. I know. I know. Yeah. My hat knows, my glasses know.
Everybody knows.
Everyone knows.
But the provider.
But yeah, so then I'm sitting with, let's say Denise. Yeah, that's how they call it, Denise and everything now. So I'm sitting next to Denise. And Denise says, oh yeah, he's absolutely fine. But I know he's not fine, you know. And Robert's got to keep his mouth shut now, you know.
Nah, bro, don't gas. The social worker don't go and say it's fine, bro.
No, they do. Okay.
Brother,
Do you want me to pull up a sentence?
Listen,
pull up a sentence.
the social
They do, you know, bro.
We got the social worker has to tell you the positives, innit?
Oh, he's pleasant.
But
He's well mannered.
No, but Denise, let me land on this, yeah?
He's not that bad.
Even if the young person is on a mad thing, there's young people, but they're nice young people.
No, do you know what? Should I tell you what I think it is? It depends on who the professional is.
Yeah.
I know I can get along with any type of young person.
Yeah.
Because obviously at the stage I am now in my career, I don't really sit down with them and support them throughout, but I'm always there at the beginning to let them know what is what, here I'm here, don't waste my time, sort of vibe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But the point is that if you don't have the ability to build that initial rapport, that's when the you is going to then push your buttons, see how far they can go, especially if you've got young people or children that's been in care for a long time, because they know how to manipulate the system.
100%.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? So if you're giving me a referral telling me about a young person, oh, they're pleasant, they're whatever, but like I said, last month they hit 3-4 different staff because they knocked on their door. Do you see what I'm trying to say? For me, firstly, there's something behind that. It's more like could be psychological, mental. I don't know. It could have been something. Something kicked off an incident. I read between the lines because, like I said,
you need to know that information, regardless of whether the young person needs to be placed. You need to know the full context of that young person. And I know that local authorities are desperate to find children placements. But you need to have the full context, full picture.
And what you said just now, because what I was going to say back to that point is that social workers, remember, they're taking this thing personally, like it's their own child. I want to place this young person in a place where they're going to be nurtured, cared for, loved, get food, really looked after and everything, right? Yeah. So, and sometimes, like, I'm not saying that they're not lying or they're not putting the relevant, but they just want to put that person somewhere to be safe. I want the person to be placed
and be stable.
Because as Nana said, right? Yeah, there's not a lot of good ones in London, you know.
There isn't.
Not a lot, you know.
There isn't, and that's the thing that I think that a lot of times that we see, because with a lot of the young people, particularly I'll say for me, being a manager of a lot of the children's team, that there are some providers who are absolutely amazing, and we've got good relationships with them. But there are others, actually, the young person's there, and the young person is vegetating. They're not doing anything in the placement. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And they may have the support worker or key worker to do the work with them, but
there's no progression.
There's no progression. And I know the thing is, it's easy for the local authority at times to be like, what's the provider doing? But the reality is, you guys are the providers. You have that young person with you. We're the corporate parent, but you have them with you 24/7 on the weekend. So, like, it might be that the provision, you guys are doing what you can to work with a young person, but the young person's pushing back. No, I'm not getting up. No, I'm not doing this. No, I'm not cleaning my room. No, I'm not letting you in. So then maybe, obviously, when you give us the feedback to go and say, well, they're not getting up. And we might be like, okay, cool, but the local authority is paying you all this money. It's not as easy because we're not there every single day. Do you know what I'm saying? You guys are the ones who are caring for that young person whilst they're with you. We can only go by the feedback that you give to us to say that actually this is support what we're doing, but the young person right now, they're pushing back.
See? And one thing that we do is we just so that we're not ever in a position where we're being compensated or paid for work that we're not doing. We have a 4-week assessment period. So the first 4 weeks is our opportunity to assess them based on whatever costs that we've proposed. But then after that, we can sit down and have an honest conversation to say, you know what, this works best or this doesn't work best because the young person's got a lot of issues. Was it today or yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yesterday we had a meeting with a local authority and they're paying for a young person and he hasn't bought into. He hasn't even stayed there for long.
He's not interested. He's not interested. He's not interested.
When we call him, he tells me he just verbal abuse on the phone. He tells me stuff about my mum that I didn't even know. I don't know what I've been doing. But I don't take it personally with the way. The thing is that we had to call them to say, listen, guys, let's have a meeting because there's not much to put on these reports. We need to really let you know. And I thought they were going to say, you know what, knock it off. But they were pleasantly surprised. I like Eric. They were pleasantly surprised with the fact that we contacted them and we was proactive with them. And they were just like, you know, let's still carry on working with you for a bit longer. Let's see if we can look after this young person.
But you know, I mentioned earlier when I was talking about communication. How what's your viewpoint on communication with local authority and semi-independents?
I know what they're gonna say, bro.
Oh no, because we ops right now, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
I already know what you're gonna say.
What type of communication you want to talk about? You want to talk about the slight emails or the like? What are you trying to say? You know what? Yeah. Okay. So our structure is that we have an operational team. So that's myself, Adrian. We have our HR. Lee, we have our business development, property maintenance, so that side. Then we have our next level of managers, which are all the home managers, and then we have our staff, and then we have our young people. So there's lots of different ways that we communicate with each other, but predominantly in regards to social workers of the young people or the PAs, is predominantly the staff, key worker, and the manager.
Right.
The only time you're seeing email from Denise and Adrian, whether it's financial or it's big doo-doo. So when you see my name in that email, you see it's serious stuff. But at the beginning, we always develop the relationship with the placements teams, the social workers, let them know, okay, if you need this is who you go to. If you need this is who you go to. If you need this is who you go to. If you're not getting anything from your manager of the home where your child is, hit me up. I'm going to get on them. So there's always a way to say like, oh, I didn't get this, no problem. Operations are getting onto the people, say like A, B, C, and D, what's going on? I just think that sometimes, don't take it offensively. I'm just talking from my experience.
I don't work for all local authorities. It's calm.
No. I'm not saying no.
That's how I'm hearing it.
I'm going to generalize. I don't like to generalize things, but I'm going to generalize it. But social workers, I can say that I've only worked with a handful of social workers who I believe have a passion and really want to support their children and seem to go out their way. Whereas others do the bare minimum. Now, I do also understand the types of workloads that you guys, social workers actually do have. Right? So I do understand that. But in certain capacities, just to email that you're leaving is one thing.
Don't get me started, you know.
Do you know what?
Listen,
do you know what? You see this week, it's mad you said it because this week, I've had a social worker. I'll tell you what. So in December, my team have taken on a lot of cases from the child protection team. A lot of children are already in care. They're coming to my team, So what's happened is that I've had a lot of providers been ringing our duty line. What's going on? The case has been reallocated. And they vent their frustration in terms of what you said as well, that actually the social workers are not telling them that they're going. So it means that in terms of continuity, you don't know who you need to be speaking to. So I've had to step in and say, look, the social worker has gone, and do apologise for what's going on. Because you're right. I think where social workers are right now, social workers are losing their passion because of what's going on with the workload. And they're just checking out. But what it's doing is that, and it's not, they're not wrong to check out because at the end of the day, it's not a personal thing. But I think with that happening, it's leaving a lot of provisions. You guys are kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're in no man's land. So you don't know who you need to be speaking to. You don't know which team you need to be speaking to or who's the manager. So sometimes for me, I've got providers who've managed to get a hold of my number. And I'm like, right, I don't know how you got the manager's number like that. Do you know what I mean? And then I've said to them, oh, the social worker's gone. Oh, but Nana, why was I not told? And it's like, the case has just come to my team, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So I've only just managed to allocate the case. Then that social worker has to rebuild a relationship with you and the young person. So it's difficult. But yes, you're right. The social workers who are leaving, they got to be telling you, we're leaving, but someone from our department will get in touch with you. But then sometimes that case gets left. It takes a while before it actually gets picked up. Because I know what... All right.
There's an issue. There should be processes.
Let's just keep it real, right? Let's keep it a buck. But it doesn't happen. Right?
Facts.
So...
Bruv, you keep saying this all the time.
It doesn't happen, bruv. Listen, right, okay. Right, so I might work with a young person. Okay, right, yeah. So let's say he's in care. He's a black child. He's been thrown out of school. Unfortunately, he goes to an AP, and he also has a youth offender order. Just an example now. So he's got the social worker for like 5 months. In fact, I'm gonna tell you how we met in a minute, right? Yeah, right. So he's got a social worker for five months. Yeah, social worker's gone. Right. No one hasn't told the mentor. No one hasn't told the home. No one hasn't told probation. Okay, right? Yeah. He's ringing the social worker. Can't get through. 1 week's gone by. 2 weeks has gone by. All of a sudden now, Ben comes on the scene now. Ben's a new social worker. Who's Ben?
Ben's gonna get it.
Ben's some uncle.
Ben's gonna get it.
Who's Ben?
Ben's gonna get it.
Well, you understand that, right? Yeah, right.
It's not all cases.
No, wait. So Ben disappears after 2 weeks.
Come on.
Right, yeah. Then Jeremy comes on the scene now. Who's Jeremy?
Even less respect.
This happens, bro, and it's a common problem. But guess what? This is where I have empathy for social workers, but it's not good because the thing is, if you really think about it, it's not like, so let's say Nana's a team leader. It's not actually his fault. Because if that social worker is not happy, or she's got too much of a caseload, she's bouncing. I'm off. I can't handle it no more. But the one person that suffers, it's not us.
It's the young
person.
Yeah.
And it's a cycle. It's unfortunate. It's a cycle that happens.
And the thing is, guys, it's not going to change, is it? Yeah. Like I have to be honest on this podcast. It's currently not going to change because it's the current climate of how social work is. So there's going to be young people whereby they're in care, they're in provisions. They're gonna have different social workers, and I ain't got the answer. Well, I've got the answer, but it's a bigger issue than us,
me.
Do you know what I mean? Of how to keep it. But you're right.
Can I give a short-term answer? What I believe, I think that is they just have to just keep it real. I think that they need to recognize that there are some people that can handle the truth. There are some people that you can say, listen, this young person is a handful, but we believe that you guys can deal with them. This is the situation. I'm going to be in my role. I'm contracting. I'm only going to be here for 6 months. But I'll let you know that by the end of, I'm going to be leaving. This is the next person that's going to be working with
but
them.
we might not even know,
but
though.
bro, that's a problem
though. You just don't know.
You don't know, bro.
You don't know, because as a social worker, I can't go and say I'm going to be with you 6 months. I'm going to bounce, because that social worker might be a permanent member of staff and they've gone. They might be locum and then they're going to go. So the thing is, like, we can't say to use providers that, actually, no, we're going to be with you on this case for this amount of time, because we could go and leave at any time.
You know, must have notice periods. Like,
like if you're permanent, you'll have 8 weeks notice. But if you're
8 weeks,
but
and we don't hear nothing.
But no one does that no more though.
Yeah.
No one does it. Hardly ever.
Hardly ever.
Yeah.
They don't do that 8 weeks.
Or like a handover.
Some people might.
Handover's what I push for. I'm always pushing for.
No, but
there's
Denise, you have to hope that if that social worker is going to go and leave, that another social worker, we've recruited another social to come in and do the handover. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes, if I say today, I'm going to be leaving, they got to hope that they recruit somebody in my post to come in, take over the cases, and then get to know the case, and then get to know the staff about this young person. It don't happen that way.
All I want is an email. I don't care about if they're getting to know who.
Even
I
if
just
it's
want an
like, you know
email
what,
to say, yo.
person's gone, but you're on your own. Just to let us know what it is. Because if something happens, and then we have to make a phone call to a social worker. And you guys get work phones, so you'll be hearing, you're expecting to speak to Emily, and then it's a guy that answers the phone, and you're thinking, what's going on?
But the social worker say, listen, in the email, it's in my manager's details, Nana. So then I get like 100 calls. Like,
No, I always go for the team manager, because if I can't get that social worker, I'm here at the team manager and the IRO. What's going on?
But then the IRO will get to us. But then you never know.
I'm not afraid to hit the IRO.
Us managers are busy as well. Sometimes it's like I get calls from provision. I'm like, look, I'm in this meeting here. Like I only get maybe like a minute to come out of a meeting. Then I'm like, oh, listen, I'm sorry. I'll give you a call back. Then I want to call you back, but then it's like I get called in. Yeah, it's hard.
I know.
Can imagine.
I know.
I think
No, I was gonna go into our new regulatory body, Ofsted. Just kind of wanted to see how that's affected. So obviously, so let's explain a little bit so like they can kind of understand. Obviously, with supported accommodation, which is for over 16, right? Most supported accommodations was regulated either like there used to be C.I.C, but there was no like overall regulatory body like children's homes, right? So Ofsted's come along, bap, in February last year, saying boom, this is what we're saying, October, cool. So y'all get ready, give us your things. This is how you need to move. Do you know what I mean? For an organisation like us, it weren't really hard. Reason being, obviously I've got experience in working in children's homes. I've been a registered manager for children's homes. Me and myself and Adrian worked at other organisations, children's homes. We've got loads of organisations we work with and stuff like that. And our thing's real good, innit? So we weren't too worried, but we just wanted to make sure that we're getting that outstanding. So we've put in extra work. We've got workshops that we do with ourselves
excellent.
every week and speaking to other providers, like, how you feeling? They're sweating about stuff and we're like thinking like, we're not even sweating about that. That's not what you're
because you're patting up already.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, inspections and stuff like that. If anyone knows inspection from Ofsted, listen, I'm somebody, yeah.
Still joking, huh?
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to describe myself. I'm somebody that's very assertive. I'm not afraid of anything, apart from dogs and animals, but I'm not afraid of that aspect, yeah. I was a registered manager and the lady came in and her face was stiff.
Yes, no
Yeah.
joke.
No
This is
problem.
the thing
Black
they're
woman
doing.
as well.
Off in a rampage.
Black woman as
Listen.
well. That woman made me vomit.
Yes.
I had diarrhea. I lost weight in a 2-day inspection. The next day I quit. Yeah? That's how stern it was.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the woman came back and she said to me, off record, she said, Denise, leave. Because at that time, the organisation I was working for, they were not putting in things that need to be in place and it was looking bad on
Too much
me as
pasta,
a
innit?
registered
Yeah.
manager who has a legal responsibility.
But you know why they like that, though, innit?
Yeah, I get it. I understand
No,
it.
no,
It's for
no.
standards.
Yeah.
What's your reason?
You know, you know why they like
Oh
that.
yeah,
innit?
yeah, I know why.
Yeah.
Tell
I
us
know
why.
why.
All right, you say, then I'll say.
You say from your okay, you go and I'll say from my bit, innit?
All right, so as I said, I go into a lot of semis
Yeah.
for years. Some are great,
Yeah.
some are fantastic, some are mediocre, some are crap.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right? Now, safeguarding is a massive thing.
Yeah.
Massive. When you walk into that place now, right? Right, where's the fire extinguishers? Like, yeah?
Imagine.
I came on Monday. Beep, beep. The fire alarm is beeping.
Yeah.
I come
Wow.
on Wednesday now.
Yeah.
The same thing.
It's still beeping.
Brother, I go on Wednesday now, brother. The same room still
No,
beeping.
no.
Hey,
Bruv. You
why,
think
why are they not changed?
bruv,
The-
you think
why is it not being
bruv,
changed?
you think
What's
that,
going on?
bruv, you think that one's bad? You think that one's bad? You go, bruv, you go, yeah, and you look at the window, innit?
Yeah.
So like, the young person's gone and broken out the window, innit?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. So you're gonna get the window replaced?
No, they put duct tape on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No,
No,
bruv,
really?
no, bruv,
The blue tape thing,
No,
innit?
no.
Duct tape with a you with
bruv,
self-harm in the
sometimes
room.
They don't even do that. Then you go, so you see the young person every 6 weeks, then you go back again.
Yeah.
And it's still there. Then the young person goes break down the window. Then you complain to us, the local authority.
They want you to pay the bill.
And it's like, but the last lap visit I did 6 weeks ago, I spoke to you about the young person's room. You said to me you're gonna go and get it fixed. Yeah, or at least double glaze something.
Yeah.
You still haven't gone and done that. Some of the providers that I've gone into, do you know the reason why I'm happy that Ofsted are doing it? Because some, when they're unregulated, they get away with.
It's
They get away with
complacency.
Yeah,
I agree.
complacent.
Complacency, lazy,
I agree.
Laziness,
slack.
yeah?
I agree.
And then the problem is that because
Yeah.
the social workers only go in every 6 weeks, there's no oversight.
Yeah.
So some providers I know, I've gone in and I'm like, rah, where's the certificate?
Yeah.
And you're doing the most. So then when these young people are saying, you know what, our support workers are, you know, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. And then, like, there's no kind of cabinets or, oh, no, I'm telling you. I'm glad Ofsted are going in.
Whoa, you know, and to be honest, with that being said, I couldn't even do that if I tried, because you see what Denise said about her previous traumatic experience at that previous organisation. So when there's something going on within our organisation, she'll call me and say, "Listen, I'll be out of here. If you don't get this, make sure."
Yeah.
And I'll be like, "It's only been one day," but that level I used to think was excessive. But then when now Ofsted's come into things, I'm like, okay, like Denise said, we're comfortable to operating at that level anyway.
Yeah.
But I've seen with my own eyes that, you know, especially when you're responsible, like you're a nominated individual and things like that, you have to crack the whip.
Because another thing is, well, this is like, you know, one thing I'll big up about this guy here, right? Yeah, like on the real, right? Yeah, I'm very big on professionalism, right? Yeah, and in this line of work that we're in, you have to be on top of your game. Can't cut no corners.
Very
Can't be
competitive.
lazy. Are you
And it's
mad? Lazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you can't.
Paperwork. Pardon me? Huh?
Can't.
It's like they're allergic.
You understand? You understand? Yeah.
But
so
okay, so in regards to like, well, maybe this might be specific for you because you don't really have to abide by anything. Like, have you seen like, because you might not have, but you might have, because supported accommodations are about to be regulated or currently getting regulated. Have you seen, like, is it been more work for you? Are you seeing more better providers, or do you think it's just...
I think now I'm seeing a lot more better providers now. I think everyone's now in their P's and Q's. And I think everyone's trying to get themselves ship shape. So even now, what I've seen is a lot of influx of providers saying, oh, Nana, you know this, I know you came to visit us this week, this time, but Offset are coming. Could you please give us some feedback on how we are, what our communication is like, you know, be open and honest with us. So I'm seeing a lot of that, which I think is good. Yeah. Because obviously I think everybody has to be held account to a standard.
Quality assurance.
Quality assurance is so important. I think local authorities are... We're not exempt from that. You know what I mean? Some are inadequate, some need improvement, some are great. But I think you need to have the oversight. So, yeah.
I agree. All right. So, the last thing that I wanted to say, for you both, is, like, obviously, we spoke about being black and being professionals and being in this sort of field. What's one piece of advice you would give? And, one piece of advice you would give? Maybe young, up-and-coming professionals.
All right, this is me personally. I don't like red tape. I think when you work for the local authority, there's too much red tape. I like to think outside the box. Bring new ideas. The world is changing. Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah, 10 years ago is not the same as 20 years ago.
100%.
You know, things are changing. The world is different now, right? Yeah. I believe to a degree working with young people with certain elements is getting a little bit stale, and I think we've got to do more at bringing you organic, fresh ideas, especially when it comes to like well-being, mental health, motivation, you know, preparing them for the next generation, more life skills.
Agreed.
You understand?
Life skills.
So, but yeah.
Sure. Agreed. No.
I say for me, for any young black professionals wanting to come up, that actually being authentic is great. You know, you don't have to be corporate. You know, do think outside the box. I think just because of the podcast and what we do, and even how I practice as a social worker, being myself in those arenas is powerful. And I will be open, honest, and go and say that actually there are going to be hurdles. There are going to be professionals going to look at you.
Yes.
That you're young and you're black. You are going to be in the so-called white spaces. Yeah. So be aware that, you know, the inequalities is in the system, but it's about you wanting to break that glass ceiling. And that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Guys, I think it's been a really good conversation. I felt really comfortable being free and talking and saying what's up, and just wanted to say thank you guys.
Listen, you're going to come on our podcast.
Oh, our podcast, man.
We're gonna come,
you're going to come on our podcast.
I'm going to wear a wig next time, yeah?
just to give the viewers an opportunity to know where they can find your podcast. Could you give us a bit more information on where we can watch your podcast?
So we're called the Social Worker and the Mentor podcast. So we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, YouTube, on Twitter, Spotify. Yeah, we're going to be on Apple as well, and we've got a lot of kind of podcast events that we do at different universities as well. So just find us, and then we're available.
Amazing. Yeah, there's a lot happening this year. Some documentaries, some films, and there's a lot mad. Because you know it is as well. You have to remember, right? Yeah, like in this field, right? It's about opening the public's eyes, right? Yeah, to what it's like in the day of a social worker, mentally, emotionally, or probation, or what you guys go through. I don't think people actually understand the day in the life or what goes on behind the scene. It's not nice sometimes, you know.
My phone's popping off now as you speak.
This is the reason why we felt it was really important for us to really shed light on what we're doing. So the people can expect more content like this. Anybody who wants to view this can see it on our YouTube channel as well as our Instagram, which is Instagram/WeCareHomes. And once again, just echoing what Denise has said, it's been an honor to have you guys. Anytime you want us on your podcast, please do that.
You're there, man. You're there.
100%, man. Yeah, man. Big up.
Thank you.